Time now for the Gold Show with Kenny Michaels. Now, here's your host, Kenny Michaels.
All right. Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. I'm your host, Kenny Michaels. It is fantastic to be here. Thank you for making us a part of your day. Thanks so much. We're grateful to you. All right, welcome aboard. The number to get me live, 888-350-3005. That's the number to get me live. I'm Kenny Michaels. This is the Gold Show. All right, here we go. All week long, I have been interviewed on different podcasts about all this talk this week about an imminent market crash. And it makes sense. And they're talking 40 to 70% of people's portfolio. The market ended Friday down 400. That may be the start. Donald Trump, your president-elect, admitted it, that it's coming. Warren Buffett's actions, the fact he moved out of stocks, show it. Harry Dent, the number one economist in the world, came out Thursday and said, get out of the market, get out of the way, give up your gains for now. When you do a government upheaval, the way Trump is doing it, to the mass that Trump is to the massive extent Trump is doing it, the market cannot sustain itself, and there will be a correction in the market, and pretty severe one at that. So if you are 50 to 90 years old, it's time to get out of harm's way. It's not about how much you gain, how much you make. It's about how much you preserve. Because you have a plan, right? What did Mike Tyson say? Everyone's got a plan till they're punched in the face. What is your plan B if your plan A doesn't work out? Have you thought about that? What is your plan B if the market crashed? Do you have one? What did Warren Buffett say? If you don't find a way to protect your money while you sleep, you'll work till you die. That's a fact. Moving into gold gives you plan B. And then in a year and a half, if everything Trump has done turns out to be good and the dust settles down and things are hunky-dory, you can always roll back tax-free, penalty-free back into stocks. But in the meantime, while there's going to be this upheaval in our government, move into safety. That just makes sense to me. It has to make sense to you. You cannot be my age. I'm 62. You cannot be near around my age and willing to risk your retirement account. That's just stupidity. You have to be a chameleon when you have a retirement account. You have to move as the wind blows. It's not about your relationship with your financial advisor. To hell with that nonsense. That's nonsense to me. Because if you lose 40, 50, 60, 70% of your portfolio, where's your financial advisor then? Is he going to support you? No, but your kids will. Now you got to explain to your daughter and son-in-law or son and daughter-in-law that, I made a stupid move. I should have moved to gold and I didn't. I lost half our money, so you'll have to support me. That's you explaining it to your children. Just because you move to gold doesn't mean you can't go back to stocks. You move to gold when you need safety. Right now, there's a change of administration. There's going to be this government upheaval to a pretty large extent. There's going to be the deep state looking to retaliate against Trump. The guy he appointed for CIA chief, John Ratcliffe, one of the first things on his list is to expose the Jeffrey Epstein P. Diddy list. You know there's political opponents of Trump's on that list. That's why they don't want Trump in. That's why they're going to do what they can to make Trump's life miserable. Hell, they tried to take his life twice. But when you have this kind of volatility, when you have this kind of chaos, when you have this kind of upheaval, and you are near retirement age, move your money into safety. Then see what happens. You can always go back. You can always go back. Call Reagan Gold Group. They will help you move to safety. Their number is 888-351-8999. Again, 888-351-8999. Or go to mygoldquiz.com. And by the way, if you go to mygoldquiz.com, you can register for free for this coming Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The Kenny Michaels Gold Webinar is this Tuesday night, and everybody gets a free silver Reagan coin. Okay? So I'm excited to meet you. I'm excited for you to meet me. I'm excited to educate you. We got a lot of topics to talk about Tuesday night. So, again, go to mygoldquiz.com if you want to answer the 4 questions that are on there about protecting your retirement account or your money in the bank. When anyone that goes online, your information comes to my email, and I will call you personally. Okay? All right, the number to get me live here, 888-350-3005. That's the number to get me live. I'm Kenny Michaels. This is The Gold Show. We have the amazing Wendy on our phones today. When you call in, say hello to her. She'll get your question. She'll connect you to me. Okay? All right. So an imminent market crash makes sense. You cannot upheave the government to this magnitude and not disrupt the financial markets. You can't stir up a hornet's nest and not get stung. You cannot. Trump told you himself there will be short-term pain for long-term gain. Now, what is short-term? I would say a year to a year and a half. But the thing is, with people retired or near retirement age, you can't afford to lose 40% and then wait for it to come back, because it has to come back 80% for you just to break even. And then, if that happened, then you have to stay ahead of inflation with your stocks. And with a new immigration policy, with these tariffs, with the lowering of taxes, it's going to reheat inflation. Everybody knows it. Goldman Sachs said to their people, move into gold. Goldman Sachs doesn't even sell gold, and he's telling their people to move into gold. What does that tell you? Because it's going to reheat inflation. And when it reheats inflation, it's the number one hedge against inflation is what? Physical gold and silver. If you're listening to this show and you're 30 years old and you're willing to gamble your retirement account, that's up to you, sure, because you've got the time to remake it. The people I am focused on, the people this show is for, are those of you that have the most to lose. A friend of mine told me, Kenny, the reason I'm doing this is because I have the most to lose with the least amount of time to gain. That's what he said. I said, oh my God, Mark, that makes complete total sense. You have the most to lose with the least amount of time to regain it. When you hit a certain age, I'm going to say 59. When you hit a certain age, it's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep. On top of all of this I'm talking about, and this imminent market crash they're talking about, there's also a global digital currency. If you think Trump can stop that, you're nuts. You're nuts. Doesn't matter what Trump said in his election speeches, campaign speeches about, I'm gonna stop the digital currency. No, he's not. It's global. No, he's not. Wake up. That was just saying what he had to say to get votes. At the end of the day, once we go completely digital, guess what? You have now lost your financial privacy. You can take a portion of your finances and gain that privacy, again, by moving into gold. Gold's a winner. Gold is not subject to Wall Street, doesn't communicate with Wall Street. Not affected by what Wall Street does, except if Wall Street goes down, gold goes up. But gold is not subject to government policies. Gold doesn't flinch. Never has. 6,000 years, and gold doesn't flinch. Crazy. That's security. You've got Harry Dent, who I mentioned earlier, the biggest economist in the world, is saying the crash will be a crash of a lifetime anytime you overhaul a government. We've had crashes before, don't get me wrong. 2008, people lost 40%, and gold shot up 330%. This is going to be a lot worse, they're saying. But the upward trend of gold will also be a lot better than 2008 because there's more elements driving gold. Digital currency, lack of purchasing power, inflation and a reheating of inflation, immigration, deportation, lower taxes, tariffs on countries, World War III on our doorstep. So when the market does make its adjustment, it's going to be severe, they're saying. When the market does make their adjustment, what is your plan? What is your plan B? If you're sitting here with your spouse and you're planning to retire in a year, 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, next month, tomorrow, whatever, and you guys have a plan, right? Oh, we're going to move closer to the grandbaby. We're going to travel. We're going to take the motor home and go drive to Hawaii or whatever you're going to do. And when you're punched in the face, your plan changes, right? What if your plan doesn't come to fruition because you didn't move your money in time? Trump takes over January 20th. He's the kind of guy that hits the ground running. There's a massive rush to gold right now because of things Trump is doing, this overhaul, this stirring up the hornet's nest, the whole nine yards. There are things Trump is doing that everybody's rushing to gold now before he takes Inauguration Day, before he takes control of the White House. The market lost 400 points on Friday. That's just the beginning, folks. The honeymoon's over, right? When Trump first won, the market shot up. That's normal. Look at it now. People are losing money every day. So again, when you are nearer at retirement age, it's about being a chameleon. You have to be a chameleon with your retirement account. When it's good to go to hard assets, which is now. When it's good to go to paper, which might be in a year and a half. You need to give this president time to let all his changes go into effect. Let the dust settle. Then let's see where we are. I'll be the first to say, if things are good in a year and a half, I'm moving my retirement account from gold, tax-free, penalty-free, back into stocks. And I hope you all follow. But right now, I went to gold. Now I'm just going to get my popcorn and watch the movie. And yes, it is true. I'm going to say something here. If you move your retirement account to gold or your cash in the bank to gold, you'll beg and pray for a market crash. Because what gold's going to do will be off the charts. That's why people are rushing to gold. Because when you upheave a government to this magnitude, there is going to be repercussions in Wall Street. There's no way to avoid it. You cannot shield Wall Street from all this. You're eliminating government departments. There's going to be a lot of people unemployed who work for the U.S. government. Okay, I'm not saying we shouldn't thin out the government. I'm a fan of that. Okay, too much waste. But it is going to put people unemployed. When you start running a massive immigration policy and deporting these criminals that come to our country, and some illegals are going to get deported, well, okay, that's great. I'm all for throwing the criminals out for sure. But at the end of the day, some of these illegals that are being deported are doing work for us. And all of a sudden, the goods that they were working on, that they're not there, now those companies have to raise the price for the cost of goods, right? And at the end of the day, what happens? Your purchasing power is worse. It drives inflation up when you have these policies. So that's why you protect yourself with the number one hedge against inflation, physical gold and silver. Just remember that moving into gold is never permanent. It doesn't have to be permanent. It can be if you want it to be, but it's I'm moving out of harm's way. I'm getting out of the way. Let's see where things settle down in a year and a half. I can always go back. That's a fact. You say to your financial advisor right now, hey, look, I'm moving right now. You've been a nice guy. Nice to meet you. We've had a nice time. We'll stay in touch. But I'm moving right now. I got to move into safety. Safety that you can't give me. But I might be back in a year. I might be back in a year and a half. This is not about your financial advisor, and I need to make that clear. This is not about that person. That person is commission-based. That person can only sell you paper. Get that through your skull. And paper crashes when markets crash. They cannot sell you hard assets. They're not licensed to sell you hard assets. And they're going to say all they can to keep their commission check. But at the end of the day, when Trump's right, and all these people are right that we're imminent for a crash here, and you lose 40% or more of your portfolio, where's your little friend, the financial guy then? Is he going to support you? You're moving into his house? I don't think so. And it's not the people that are 30 years old that I care about. It's the people that are near or at retirement account that my heart bleeds for. Just remember, if you move your IRA, you call Reagan Gold Group, you move your IRA, you can always go back. I want you to remember that door. That door is always open. But get it out of harm's way. Then make your plan for retirement because now your money's safe. And then get your popcorn and sit back and watch what's going to happen. That's it. That's what I did. I moved mine into gold. Now I sit back with my popcorn. I'm just going to watch what's going to happen. And I'm not going to lie. I'm praying for a market crash because I'm in gold. Last time it went up 330%. Boy, do I hope it does that again. Call Reagan Gold Group, 888-351-8999, or go to mygoldquiz.com. Okay? All right, the number to get me live here in studio is 888-350-3005. That is the number to get me live. I'm Kenny Michaels. You're listening to The Gold Show. If you have questions about your retirement account or your money in the bank or questions about buying gold, that's why I encourage you to call me here live in studio, okay? The amazing Wendy's on our phones. She will absolutely take your call. She'll get your question. She'll connect you to me. And the reason I want you to call in is because you and I, when we chat, when you ask a question, it's always a good question. There is no such thing as a dumb one. And when I answer your question, we're educating those that are too afraid to call in or too shy to call in. The show is an educational show. That's what this show's about. It's about being educated. It's thinking common sense when it comes to your finances. Don't be so caught up at the fact, if you're a Trump fan, right? Don't be so caught, Trump won, I'm in euphoria, Trump won. Yeah, okay, great. Trump won. But there are consequences to Trump winning. You know that, right? I voted for him. But I voted for him knowing that there's consequences. And when I saw that he won, I moved my IRA into gold because I read what his plan is. And his plan isn't good for the market. It may be good for the market long term, down the road, a year and a half from now. But I'm 62. My time is running out to go back to work. I have limited time to regain what I lose. I'm not willing to lose anything. So I move my money. But the door's open for me that if his plan works out well, and stocks are the thing to have in a year and a half, trust me, I'll be in it. But right now, I'm the chameleon. I'm getting my money out of harm's way. I have reached a point in my life at 62 years old, it ain't about how much money I can make. I could care less. If I never made another dime in my lifetime, at least what I have is preserved. So I can retire, so I can make that plan. So when you and your spouse are sitting down to make a plan for retirement, or you're ready to walk into your boss's office and give him the date, before you do that, guys, protect your money first, because that's what you're going to rely on to retire. All right, the number to get me live, 888-350-3005. That's the number to get me live. I'm Kenny Michaels. This is The Gold Show. You can call Reagan Gold Group directly. They'll help you move your IRA. No charge to do the paperwork, guys. It's all quick and easy. They are there right now. Their direct number is 888-351-8999. 888-351-8999. Again, 888-351-8999, or go to mygoldquiz.com. By the way, if you go to mygoldquiz.com, you can register for free for this coming Tuesday. The Kenny Michaels Gold Webinar is this Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm excited to meet everybody, okay? And it's going to be a good 45 minutes of education, okay? So get on there. It's filling up fast. Everyone who does register for the webinar does get a free 1 ounce pure silver Ronald Reagan coin. So don't hesitate. It's filling up fast. There's some seats left, so go to mygoldquiz.com. Okay, it says right at the top, register. Click there, and you're good to go. Okay, Fox Business reporting that the U.S. has too much for Trump to avoid a market crash. Too much debt for Trump to avoid a market crash. That's Fox Business. Warren Buffett moved out of stocks. He decided to shut his mouth and lead by example. Love that guy. Love that guy. Okay? Harry Dent, get out of the market, get out of the way, give up your gains for now, he says. Smart advice. And we're going to be hitting a break here shortly. But when we come back from break, one of the things I want to talk about is how your money, including money in the bank, is in the middle of a fight between the Federal Reserve and Donald Trump. We're going to talk about how you're affected by that. Okay? And how that turns out, no matter who wins that fight, it's not going to be good for your retirement if you're in stocks. It's not going to be good for your money in the bank if you're sitting in a stupid CD. Now, some of you are probably wondering, why do I say stupid in front of the word CD? Okay? I think they're stupid because you're tying up your money for a year's time at a failing institution, backed by a failing insurance company, backed by a failing broke U.S. government for a lousy 4%. And you're in paper. And it doesn't matter that you made the lousy 4%. Your purchasing power is negative. You're negative. You're behind the 8 ball. That's why I think they're stupid. If you're going to tie your money up for a year, tie it up. Tie it up in gold. Have the gold shipped to your house. Okay, great way to transfer wealth to your next generation with no government involvement. And you're in physical possession of it. So you can always cash it in if need be. If, God forbid, you ran into a situation where you need money, you can always cash it in. You have to minimize risk and increase security when you hit a certain age. You have to minimize risk and think more of security. When you're young, you take risks. That's fine. But if you're 82 years old or 80 years old or 75 years old, there's no going back to work. And what about a legacy? You're going to explain to your son and daughter that they have to support you because you made a stupid choice? Okay, I'm not saying that what Trump is doing is bad for this country, but what Trump is doing is certainly not going to take effect January 20th. Yes, he moves into the White House and his policies begin. But do you know how long it's going to take to overhaul a government? At least a year and a half. And in that time, we're going to have market crashes. We're going to have the deep state retaliating like hell against this guy. Okay? We're going to have other countries trying to retaliate against him. I talk about BRICS all the time, right? You understand that every country that has joined BRICS is holding U.S. Treasury notes? You do understand that, right? And their plan is, Operation Sandman, their plan is that when they hit 100 nations, all those nations are going to cash their Treasury bills in all at one time. And that will bring finally the dollar to zero. That crashes the economy and Trump's in trouble. Worse than that, you're in trouble. But if the economy crashes and the dollar goes to zero, what do you think that does for gold? Wow. And if Trump moves us to the gold standard before the sinking of the dollar, he resets the price of gold. What does that do for gold? Wow. That's why there's no upside, no price ceiling for gold and nothing but an upside for gold. There's no upside in stocks. None. We're in a bubble that's about to get popped. So all I'm saying to you people is if you are of retirement age, you got to be smart right now. Get off the field, get onto the sideline, get into gold. A year from now, see where things are. Year and a half, see where things are. Move back then. Remember, when you move from stocks to gold, it's tax-free, penalty-free. When you move from gold to stocks, it's tax-free, penalty-free. It's always tax-free, penalty-free. But be a chameleon. Shift your money with what's going on. All right. We're going to take a quick break. The number to get me live right now, 888-350-3005. You're listening to The Gold Show. You can bypass me if you want. Call Reagan Gold Group directly. They'll get you taken care of. They're at 888-351. Okay, we are back. Welcome back to The Gold Show. I'm your host, Kenny Michaels. Great to be here. Thanks so much for making us a part of your day. We have a caller on line 6. We're going to go to Sleepless in Seattle. Okay. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Hi. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
My question is, are credit unions in the same category as banks as far as unrealized risk and FDIC solvency?
So the answer is yes and no. So credit unions are not insured by the FDIC. They're insured by the NCUA, which is the National Credit Union Association. It acts the same as an FDIC. Remember this about a credit union. Most credit unions today are funded by the bigger banks, right? So at the end of the day, if the bigger banks are struggling, credit unions, the rules apply to the same, right? Whether you're in a credit union or whether you're in a bank, your money's regulated by the Federal Reserve. And at the end of the day, back in 2008, when we had banks go out of business, we had plenty of credit unions go out of business as well, right? At the end of the day, what you have to realize about a bank or credit union used to be a place where we could store our money. Now it's a place that reports everything we do to the government. Now, with a digital dollar on the horizon, literally, when I tell you how close this is, you can't even imagine how close it is. When we're now going a digital, right, you want to minimize what you keep in the banks. Okay, they expect 500 more bank failures in 2025. They expect 300 more credit union failures in 2025. Okay, so at the end of the day, you want to limit what you put at risk in a federal banking institution. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sure does.
Okay, so
the only option is gold and silver.
Well, yeah. So I'll tell you what I do regarding money in the bank, and I don't mind sharing. So I limit what I put in the bank. I'm still working, right? I'm 62. I'm still working. So I put enough money in the bank each month to pay whatever bills are due until the next paycheck. What most people don't realize today, we are in a point today where if the government needed money, they could push a button and wipe out your account. Is that crazy or what? On top of which, I don't want my money tied up somewhere in an organization that's losing money, backed by an insurance company that's broke, backed by a government that's broke. Why would I tie my money up for a year in a bank or credit union in a lousy CD at 4%? When I can have physical gold and silver shipped to my house? That's real money, not funny money. The fiat currency is funny money.
What do you do for an emergency? What do you do for an emergency fund if you don't only have enough to pay your bills in the bank or credit union, and then you've got an emergency and all you've got is gold? How do you cash that in to pay your bill?
First of all, gold is very liquid, just so you know. So when you buy gold from Reagan Gold Group, as an example, they'll ship the metals to your home. If you got in a situation where you needed money, you just call Reagan Gold Group. They'll buy the metals back from you. They take no commissions. They take no fees. They have the greatest buyback program in the industry. And you got cash instantly. But the difference is, if you keep money in the bank and you pass away, your heirs go to the bank with your death cert And your Uncle Sam has his hand in that money. And don't tell me you don't have an Uncle Sam in your family. Okay. Now, at the same time, if you had that money in gold and silver and you pass away, that wealth transfers to your next generation with no government involvement whatsoever.
Right.
You can always cash in gold. It's liquid. Okay?
How long has Reagan Gold Group been around?
They've been around a very long time. Zero complaints with the Better Business Bureau. The best buyback program in the industry. That's why I encourage people to call them. So their number, ma'am, is 888-351-8999. They are there right now. You can call, get one of my assistants over there if you want. 888-351-8999. Or you can go to mygoldquiz.com. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day. God bless. Bye-bye. All right. The number to get me live, 888-350-3005. That's the number. We are going to bring on our gold guest. Let's go to Paul. Paul, welcome to the show, sir.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, you tuned into the show. You had a retirement account. How did it all go?
Yeah, it went great. So, I'm 59 and a half. I'm still working. I have a 401k with one of the big name companies, and I've been worried that the stock market's been going up since 2010. So I gave Kenny a call, and he and David worked with me. I first moved my 401k into cash, and then I moved 3/4 of the account over to equity trust. And once all the money was at equity trust, David and Kenny helped me convert that to gold and silver, which we did through Reagan Gold Group, and eventually we put it into a depository in Delaware where it's insured by Lloyd's of London.
Yeah, and one of the things people need to understand is when you move a retirement account, you don't have to set up the new account you're moving to with Equity Trust. Reagan Gold Group will do all that paperwork for you. Right? So at the end of the day, you don't do anything but make a phone call. That's all people need to do. That's all you had to do, Paul. You called Reagan Gold Group and boom, the ball rolled. You got me, actually, and I got you over to David. David took care of the paperwork, and now you're sleeping at night. Praise Jesus. So here's a question for you. How does it feel to be in gold?
Well, it feels really safe. I don't know. I wouldn't say I was really worried about the market, but sooner or later it's going to take a turn, and I can't afford to lose a bunch of money in my retirement account. So now that I'm in gold, I traded 3/4 of my retirement account from paper money, which is funny money, into real money. I mean, no one can deny that gold and silver isn't real money. So I'm sitting in real money, and I feel great.
Yeah, and the idea that the market is going to crash sooner or later, we have now reached the point of sooner. This last week, I have been interviewed on a couple of podcasts, some other shows, all about this talk about a market crash. Market dropped 400 points on Friday, and there's no way we're not going to have an imminent crash here, because when Trump, completely overhauls the government, there's no way you can protect the stock market. So at the end of the day, your timing was very, very good. Well, great. Well, listen, for being this week's gold guest, you're getting a free silver Reagan coin courtesy of me and my show. Any advice you would give people tuning in?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're 59 and a half, you owe it to yourself to look into what Kenny and David can do. I mean, you don't have to do it, but I think it's a smart, wise decision, and I'm really glad that I did. I'd recommend that you call them.
Well, that's great. All right. Well, listen, buddy, it was great talking to you. I'm glad we're able to help you. I'm glad you're feeling better about where your money is. Most people do. And congrats again. Okay? All right, buddy. God bless. Bye-bye. All right. The number to get me live, 888-350-3005. That's the number to get me live. I'm Kenny Michaels. You're listening to The Gold Show. All right. So there's this war going on between the Federal Reserve and Donald Trump, right? Jerome Powell can't stand Trump. Trump can't stand Jerome Powell. No love lost. It's out in the open. It's public. Everybody knows it, right? And so your money's in the middle of it. And no matter how this turns out, it's not good for paper. If Powell gets pushed out, he's already told Trump he will crash the economy. Yikes. That would not be good for your money. Your dollar would go nowhere. Your retirement accounts would, stocks would be completely destroyed. And on the Trump side, if Trump wins that fight, he's winning the fight with the cost of the economy crashing. He's going to want to move us to gold. So our currency cannot be manipulated. And if he moves us to gold and you're in stocks, yikes for you. I hope during this show I'm able to open your eyeballs for you just to see where it's going. Listen, I'm not upset that Trump won. In many respects, I'm thrilled. But based on what his plan is and based on the aggressiveness of the revamping of our government, you cannot protect the stock market when you overhaul the government. Unemployment's going to increase because departments of the government are going to be shut down. People will be out of work. Okay? Certain immigrants will be deported. Whether you agree with deportation or not is not a conversation today. But how it does affect you is there'll be less workers. Less workers means less product. Less product means more cost for the products that's out there. Right? So that's what I'm saying is that that's why Goldman Sachs, who does not sell gold, by the way, is telling people to move to gold. What does that tell you? But better to move to gold, sit on the sideline, grab your popcorn, watch the movie that's going to take place, and then let's revisit this conversation in a year, year and a half. Let's revisit it. If things are looking good, things are running smooth, economy's absolutely booming, the dollar purchasing power is going up for the dollar, which won't happen, but if it did, because we're going digital, so that's another problem. But nonetheless, if everything's honky-dory in a year and a half, move back to stocks. Go get your CD again. But for now, get into hard assets. And remember this, those of you that are near or at retirement age have more to lose with the least amount of time to regain it. Okay? But you have the most to lose. Not your 25-year-old son, not your 30-year-old son, not your 40-year-old son. They're young enough to lose it and remake it. You are not. And so you move into some form of a safe haven. Okay? And that's gold. That's the only safe haven there is. All right, Reagan Gold Group will help you do it. Their number is 888-351-8999. Or go to mygoldquiz.com. By the way, quick reminder on mygoldquiz.com, you can register for the Kenny Michaels Gold webinar. That's this coming Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and you don't want to miss it. Okay, I'll teach you why we buy gold under Trump, what is happening under Trump. Okay? And and it's be a great education for you. And everybody that joins the webinar gets a free silver 1-ounce Ronald Reagan coin shipped to them as a thank you for attending the webinar. So there's some seats still open. So go there, go to mygoldquiz.com. Okay? All right. The other thing I want to mention is this. I want to talk about how do you move your money into gold if you can't move your money into gold. Well, if you have a 401k, now this does not apply to an IRA, but 401k, 403b, 457a, and a TSP. If you have any of those accounts and they're with your current job, you can't touch it, move it, do anything with it till you're 59 and a half. Those are the rules of those accounts. I didn't make those rules. Don't be mad at me. I'm just a messenger, right? Those are the rules of those accounts when you set those accounts up. So those accounts are stuck where they are because the penalty would be too severe for you to move out of it. And I would never encourage that. But if you have some money in the bank, you can at least start with money in the bank and purchase gold as a cash purchase and have it all shipped to your home. When it is shipped to your home, it's shipped at Reagan Gold Group's expense, and they insure the package. So God forbid something happened to the package, you'd be insured. You don't have to worry about it. And when it's delivered, you have to sign for it. That makes sense. They wouldn't leave it by the door. It's pure wealth, for crying out loud. Right? So a signature is going to be required. And the great thing about Reagan Gold Group is when they ship you your metals, they'll call you and say, hey, John Doe, your metals have been shipped. Here's the tracking number through FedEx. So you can track it and make sure somebody is home to sign for that package. That's great. Now, once you're in possession of the metals, if you say, well, I don't have a place to store these metals, no problem. Reagan Gold Group will send you a free safe if you need one. Not a problem. But once you're in possession of these metals, now you hold the most beautiful form of wealth there is because it's pure. And if you, God forbid, something happened to you, it goes to your kids and your Uncle Sam. And we all have an Uncle Sam. Remember that. Everybody has an Uncle Sam. Okay? I don't like my Uncle Sam, but everybody has an Uncle Sam. Your Uncle Sam can't get his hands on it. And if you have more than one kid or more than one heir, you can divvy up what you purchased in gold as cash. You know, how much each kid gets. You can do whatever you want, put it in your will, do whatever you want. But there's no manipulative hands, no government interest in that money. It's pure wealth given to your heirs. That's why you buy gold. So if you can't move a retirement account, at least use some cash and buy some gold that way. And then, of course, when you hit 59.5, if you haven't lost a ton, you can move your retirement account then. Here's something else I want to mention. Better to move your retirement account now. Then better to be proactive than reactive. Because if you're reactive, when the market crashes and we lose this 40 to 70% that's imminent that they're talking about, now you have less money to work with. It's going to take longer to rebuild your account. But if you move now while you're proactive, then once you move, you'll kneel and you'll pray for a market crash. Because the last time it crashed, gold shot up 330%. This will be a lot more this time. So if you do move to gold and the market crashes, not only now has your account exploded, but now when you want to go back into stocks in a year and a half, those stocks are cheaper. You'll buy more stock with the increase of the money. You understand? It's win-win for you. But please, dear God, if you are between the age of 50 and 90 years old, you are the most to lose. You are the most affected. Don't be stupid. Don't be greedy. Pigs get fat. Hogs get slaughtered. Okay? If you are between that age, congratulations. You've hit the age where making money is no longer important. Preserving our wealth is what's important. Because our days of working are limited. We don't have the energy. We don't have the stamina. We're tired. We've been on the job 30 years. We're pooped. Okay? And so now it's about planning for a retirement account. And you know what I said in the beginning of this show? Everyone's got a plan until you're punched in the face. Now what? What have you ever given any thought to what is your plan B when plan A doesn't go the way you thought? If they're right about Trump, and Trump said it himself, an imminent market crash. Short-term pain, long-term gain. He thinks short-term's a year and a half. Why would you take a hit then? When you can just move it out of harm's way and not lose anything. Probably gain, because we know what gold and silver does during a market crash. It's about, preservation. You're making plans for retirement. All I ask is that before you secure your plan, before you walk into your boss and give notice, you move your money first. Put your money into a safe haven. Then go from there. Because if you are affected 40%, 50%, 60%, 70%, your retirement plans are out the window. Your retirement plans are in the toilet. There it goes. There goes a retirement plan. Right there. All right. I'm Kenny Michaels. This is The Gold Show. Go ahead and give me a call, 888-350-3005 if you have questions. Otherwise, you can contact Reagan Gold Group directly. Give them a call. Their number is 888-351-8999, 888-351-8999, or go to mygoldquiz.com. One thing I'll reiterate. Remember, Harry Dent, the number one economist in the world, said, get out of the market, get out of the way, give up your gains for now. That's exactly what I'm telling you. You can go back to getting gains. Give it a year. Give it a year and a half. Just makes sense, guys. Okay? Now, should you own more gold or more silver? Depends on your age, right? Silver has a lot of manufacturing uses. The electric car industry, the solar industry, using pure silver for all their components. It's driving silver through the roof. There's also a silver shortage. Anytime there's a shortage in something, everybody wants to invest in it. That makes sense because there's less of it. If there's less of it, it's worth more. Makes sense. A lot of it depends on your age, but when you do move your account and you do choose gold and silver, diversify within the metals. Don't do all gold. Don't do all silver. Diversify. Have some gold. Have some silver. They're both great to have. One is a preservation of wealth. One you'll get more growth from. Right? Don't ever limit yourself to one of it. Listen, in your IRA, do you only have one stock? No, you have several stocks, right? You have banking stock, medical stock, technology stock. You have all kinds of stock, right? Gold and silver is the same way. You don't put it all in gold. You don't put it all in silver. You diversify. If you do a cash purchase, depending on how much you're spending, buy some silver, buy some gold. Have it all shipped to you. You may need that silver to go buy a loaf of bread, a dozen eggs, or a gallon of milk. You're not going to take a $5,000 gold coin with you to the grocery store to buy eggs. But you can take a silver coin. And some states accept gold and silver today as legal tender, 13 of them. Accept gold and silver today as legal tender. Okay? And I think it's going to get more. 32 other states have petitioned their state court to accept gold and silver as legal tender. Why? Because they see where we're headed. Globally, we're headed for a digital currency. All right, call Reagan Gold Group. They'll give you all the help you need. It's no charge. Give them a call, 888-351-8999, or go to mygoldquiz.com. Remember to register for the webinar this Tuesday night, 6 p.m. at mygoldquiz.com. You'll get a free Reagan coin. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for tuning into the show. Have a great day. God bless. Remember, gold and silver will never make you rich, but it will stop you from being poor. Have a great day. God bless. Bye-bye.
Gold Group is not a financial planner or investment advisor. They do not provide legal advice, tax advice, or retirement-specific recommendations. The Gold Show is for educational purposes only. The precious metals market can fluctuate and has risk like any other investment.